Please note, this session is being recorded.
Okay, so I shared this document as a requirement for this particular project, which says that whatever data you have been given, you need to kind of look into the data. You need to write the description about the data, whatever your understanding is, and then you need to develop 3 different business scenarios that can be suitable for telling interesting alternative stories through the given data, which means when you will be observing that data or looking into it, you need to create 3 storylines or 3 scenarios. Basically it could be the observation, 3 different observation what you get out of looking into the data. Then you need to tell, like, whatever visualization or whatever scenarios you are representing into data, why you have taken a particular chart for that, right? So for example, there is a trend which you want to show, right? So for trend, which chart you have taken and why, right? That is one thing. So 3 scenarios. And then third point says construct 3 different visualization for each scenario that reflect alternative interesting views on the provided data. So again, like 3 scenarios which you have identified, in each scenario you need to create 3 charts. 3 visualization means 3 charts, yes. Okay, then your skills in data visualization concept and theories using at least one calculated field, one condition, pattern detection, and prediction. So prediction you can leave right now, prediction, because it's a forecasting and we have not done that yet. But yes, the calculated field and pattern you can create. So calculated field, we have created many calculated fields so far, and then pattern detection is nothing but the trend trend analysis, like trend lines. Yeah, that is what you need to create. Then fourth point says, for each visualization developed, so 3 scenarios and 3 charts means total 9 visualization you have created. You need to justify your reason for using specific visualization tools. So this is nothing but basically we have already covered here, right? That why you are using a particular chart for a particular visualization or scenario. Your justification should demonstrate your ability to evaluate the business scenario and purpose its proper visualization. So this point number 4 is already covered here in point number 2 and 3. Okay. Then the last is discuss your visualization finding and provide suggestions on what additional data variables you can amend to help you telling better stories. So basically the 3 scenarios what you identified, you created charts looking at those observations, right? There would be something good happening in that data, something bad must be happening in the data, right? So how to kind of give the positive side of it, what changes you do in a data so that it will show a good trend. Okay, let's say okay, my data was around, if you go to your data, it's related to HR employee attrition. Okay, which means it's a attrition data. So if attrition is increasing, is it good for business or bad for business?
Yeah.
Right. So if attrition is increasing, you need to first of all show that attrition is increasing. Then you need to show what are the different reasons why attrition is increasing. And then as a part of point number 5th, you need to suggest what should organization do in order to reduce the attrition. So looking at data, you will have number of scenarios, number of fields which are either causing attrition or they can help identifying the main problems why attrition is happening. So it's I mean, there are a number of fields you can see here. Age is there, attrition, whether this person tried or not, then business travel, daily rate, this is basically the salary rate, which department that person belong to, distance from home, education background, then employee count. Okay, this will remain 1. Then you have employee number, satisfaction score, gender, hourly rate, right? How much salary they're getting per hour, job involvement, basically how much they were engaged in the job. So it is an engagement score, you can say. Job level, basically hierarchy, role, satisfaction. There could be scenarios like when person is highly involved but he's not satisfied. Okay, so those type of combinations are there in the data. Monthly income, monthly rate, number of companies they worked. So there could be possibility that person uh, switches job very often, right? So you can identify that crowd as well. The number of records over 18. Okay, so this is again the related to age. Overtime is possible for them or not. So there are a number of fields over here you can see, and these fields will help you identify why there is a huge attrition, and out of these factors only, these fields only, which fields you should use in order to reduce attrition, right? So as a deliverable, we are looking for one executive summary, basically the combination of 3-4 charts, then description about the data, which I have already just told you, and then proposed business scenarios, like what should be done in order to decrease the attrition or control the attrition. And descriptive analytics, basically which charts you use, why you used, and suggestions and finding. So this is what you need to submit, right? Now while submitting, you need to keep in mind that the data file which you are going to share, that should be TWBX, because if you connect to your Excel sheet and save only TWB file, I'll not be able to open that here. So you need to create TWBX file. So any questions here? Yes, Prati, any questions? Okay. I'm not able to hear any of your words, basically. It seems some sound is coming, so I'm not able to understand. No, no. It's still the same, I think.
Satya, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, it's very good
Okay.
now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I reconnected.
Okay.
So I was
So,
telling I'm clear about the scenario. I got a good understanding. I'll work on it today. I'll let you know if I have any doubts.
okay, fine. So now let me go ahead and open our regular workbook. So the other day, we were trying to, create this current and previous year kind of comparison, right? Before we dropped. and there was some kind of, we were not getting the exact logic that what to do that. So I just continued after, session. And what I did, we just created, two fields here, two calculated fields. This was the parameter which we already created. That was current year. Basically, in that, we gave user a flexibility to select the year, whether it is 2016, 17, 18, or 19. So user can select any of these years. If I select 19, it is going to show me the data for 19 and 18 both. And if I select 18, it's going to show me 18 and 17, right? So current year and previous years. This is going to show the data of 2 years. Now, this was what the one parameter. Then we created one calculated field that was current versus previous. And over here, we put if year in the parameter, if the year of our date, order date, is equal to the year of parameter selected, or, right, if that condition satisfies, then print as current year. And if year of order date satisfies to the year of parameter -1, then print previous year, else 0. Okay, so this is how we will be able to identify our current year and previous year using these parameters. All other years are going to be 0. Only the current year and previous year we would know. So that was the second calculated field. Now I'm going to plot next field, that is previous versus current. So over here, we have written, if year of order date is equal to integers of parameter current year, or year of order year is equal to year in parameter -1, which means if year which is selected in parameter is equal to our order year, or the year selected in parameter -1 is equal to our order year, then plotted 1, else 0. Okay, so for my current and previous, again I'll get 1, and all others I'm going to get 0. So by doing so, I have just selected 1 over here, which means only previous year and current year. Okay, let me just change it. I think the same thing is achievable using my current versus previous also. And over here, I'll just,
Satya, I think the filter which you applied earlier was better, because here again, either it will give current year or the previous year, because it is a part of if case statement kind of. It will return only one. So I think this is better here. Or else there you have to change it like, yeah.
right, I'm using only one field now. So one parameter and one field. You getting? We just created one parameter here and one calculated field, which is telling whether it is current, previous, because this calculated field automatically returns 3 fields, right? 3 values, one as current year, one as previous year, and 0. So in this visualization, we simply need to show these 2 values, right? We need not to show 0. And if we are not showing 0, it will show the current and previous year trend for me. So now you can see I selected 2017. If I select 18, it's going to show me the trend for 18 and 17.
17.
Okay. We can plot year. We can show the year also on labels. So that will be little better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it shows 2017 and 18.
Can we go to
Similar.
the filter and see how we are aligning current and previous year?
Okay. So over here I have simply said exclude 0.
Okay, exclude 0.
Apart from that, show any other value whichever is coming.
Okay,
Either
if you select something, that is exclude, is it?
right.
Okay.
So that is a one way of, because I selected this exclude. Now this
Okay.
time what I'll do, let's select only
Current and
current and
previous will select.
previous, and we'll unselect the 0. Then also
Yeah.
it will remain same.
Okay, okay. Yes, I got it. I didn't know.
And this is a very common requirement, right? I mean, wherever the
Yeah.
projects wherein we compare the trend, it is a very common requirement.
Okay.
There is,
So here, yeah. I just wanted to understand means how we'll come up with this idea, like how many parameters to create, how many calculated tools. I mean, the thought process behind building it.
see, I would say this is again, because once you do some hit and trial, right, then only it will come in your mind. See, the same thing happened with me, because I have worked on this this scenario quite early. I mean, long back. But when I was working on it on last day, basically Saturday, right? We were doing something wrong. It was not giving the exact trend which we were planning. But as soon as the call ended, the meeting ended, I kept working on it, and it took hardly 20 more minutes. I was able to kind of plot it.
Yeah, yeah. I saw your message around 12. In that WhatsApp group, I saw your message. You have
Yeah,
given this chat right there. I
right.
see.
So it's again, I mean, there are basic concepts which should be clear. But yes, as soon as you come across new problems, new visualizations, then you need some kind of, I would say, R&D work, R&D time. In that, you'll be able to
Okay.
create. I mean, if you go to Google or YouTube, you will see that people create many different type of visualization. I'll show you. Yesterday, I subscribed to one YouTube channel. I'll show you what type of visualization they are creating, and it is I think Bio has joined. Yeah, this was the channel. Now over here, if you see a number of visualizations, so out of this, they have created radial bar chart. It is nothing but the bar chart, but in order to create this, right, they created number of calculated fields, replicated their data, and in order to show if you have a summarized data, then this is a good dashboard, good visualization to be on dashboard. But if you work on huge data, kind of if your data size is too high, in that case these scenarios are not easily possible. You cannot create in the dashboards. You can go through these videos later, but that what I'm trying to say is, in order to create just these 4 lines, they plot pi concept here. Pi in mathematics you come across. Then they plotted coordinates x and y, and then they plotted path. So in order to just create these 5 lines here, 5 bars here, they created around 8 calculated fields, and their data set has only hardly 7 rows. I'll show you. not this one. No, this is not that scenario. That was different one wherein they had only 7 rows of data, but in order to just plot this, they created number of calculated fields. So what I'm trying to say is you can create n number of different charts in Tableau, but you need to see whether this is really going to help in your business case. Apart from this, we sometimes we see sunburst chart. For example, this is what calendar circle chart. Yeah, see now you should be able to explain what exactly you are creating and how it is adding value to your business. If you are able to do that, well and good. You can do a lot of creativity in Tableau. This is square bump chart. So they are using the concept of what waterfall, and then they create this here. This is half circle timeline. This you can create easily. It's very simple. Okay, so you can explore these channels wherein you will be able to see different other visualizations, which generally you are not possible in Tableau, but by doing some kind of changes, using calculated fields or mathematical logics, you can create. So that is what you can explore anytime. Now, so Bio, before you joined, we only covered this and some description about the assignment which I gave.
Okay.
So yeah, so hope you went through the assignment document and the data which I shared.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So have you started working on it, or do you have any questions?
I have question about will come up later.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, other than that, we just covered this visualization, which we basically were trying to do it on Saturday. So that was related to current year, a comparison of sales data or profit data of current year versus previous years. So whatever we were trying to do on Saturday, on top of that, we just created, this parameter was already created, wherein we had year selection 2016, 17, 18, and 19. And then on top of it, we created another calculated field. And that field is to just identify which is my current year, which is my previous year, and what are the years which doesn't fall in our category. So I'm just comparing my years of order date and year value coming from the parameter. If it is same, I'm putting as current year. If year of order date is equal to year selected in parameter -1, right? So in that case, I'm calling it as previous years. And apart from these two conditions, if any value is there, I'm just plotting or putting 0 against that. So this is how we'll know what is my current year, what is my previous year, and what values doesn't fall into our category. And then the same field I have dragged here on filter side, and I'm selecting only current year and previous year. I'm unselecting 0. So basis this, I will see only 2 years at a time. And then I put this same calculated field over color, so that whatever value I'm plotting, because see over here you can see January, Feb, March, all the months are there. If I just remove this particular value from the color and I remove labels from the trend, Month order sales. Okay. Right. So initially, because right now there is no year concept here, what I have dragged. So it is going to show you only one trend. With help of your current versus previous and field, you'll be able to split this into two. So you can simply, if you drag this onto color, it is going to show you two splits of the same data. Had it been three years, it will split into three. The same bar will split into three. Now over here, in order to see the better way, you can drag year as I did. So just drag order date on top of labels. You will know which is your current year and which is your previous year. This is the selection of different years. Now in case of 2016, it will show only one. The reason being, I don't have any data older than 2016. So that's why only 1 year at this point. Okay, so this was the visualization which I was talking about the other day. So I'll just save it. Current versus previous. Any questions, Smriti and Bio, on this particular visualization?
No.
So this hierarchy which we created, that hierarchy, which actually Tableau created automatically, that is kind of necessary for this kind of trend analysis.
Tableau, sorry, hierarchy. Which hierarchy you're talking about?
This date hierarchy.
Over here you are saying month
Yeah.
order. No.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, for this particular visualization, it is not required. See why you are getting plus sign over here, because it is a date field, right? And as soon as you drag your date, it comes into year format. I'll show you. I'll just remove it and I'll drag order date. As soon as you drag it here, it comes into year format, right? So what I did, I just clicked on it. It created quarter and then it will create into months. And then you can go ahead and remove all other hierarchies. See, because date is our by default hierarchy in Tableau. So that's why you are getting plus sign. I have not created it. This order date is automatically, one field itself. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
got it. Yeah.
right, other way, because I kept clicking on this plus sign. The other way would be for you, like you can just drag that order date once again. Click on drop down, select month. So in one go only you'll be able to kind of create the same view. Okay. If you want to show the
Yeah.
same thing in the quarterly split, you can do that like this. 2016 versus 17 in different quarters. Or year will definitely show only one dot, so that is not going to do good for you. Weekly you can show, right? So, but this doesn't look good here. The reason being, my data is not sorted well. For weekly scenarios, data is not sorted well, so that's why you are getting. Okay. So what it is doing, it is taking week in continuous. That's why it is not coming in that way. If you have week number, in that case it will week number. Yes. Yeah. So you can see this. If it is a week number, then it is plotting it better. So it's week 1, week 2 of both the years, and accordingly it will show the data. Fine. Hope it is clear, right? Why week number is showing correctly, but if I go by week,
Yeah.
it is not showing.
Because in time there are different time, right? Yes, a different time is different.
Right. see over here, if you see, it's taking the exact value. And if you plot exact value, it will be in order. Correct. But if I do it by just the part, date part, which means whether it is a week 1 or month January, in that case it will work, because in that case it will be a common across both the years. If it is January, we'll call Jan only in 2018 and Jan in 17 also. It will not be like first month of January, sorry, first month of 2016 was something else, and first month of 2017 is January. January will always be the first month of any year. So that's why it is plotting it correctly. But if I just talk about a date, right, like 1st Jan 2016 and 1st Jan 2017, then it will be wrong. Then it will not be correct. Okay, so any other doubts?
No.
Okay, fine. So I'll just save this. I'll create a copy of this, or let's go ahead and create another chart from scratch. We'll put it similar fields, for example profit, then we'll take order date, we'll change it into month, and then we can take, okay, let's talk about this view here. So this view is what it is showing right now. Like I have my order date in form of months, and I have some of my profit. Okay, it shows that my data is just, it shows a zigzag trend, but if you plot a reference line, how would it look like? Is it going up or is it going down? If you see the trend from beginning.
Down.
Why, what about you? What do you say?
Yeah, from beginning is it went down, up, up. Yeah, but from beginning it went down first.
Okay, yeah, correct. Right. So I mean, both of you are right here. If you look at the trend, definitely in the beginning it went down, then went up, then again down, then went up, then again down. Like a market or Sensex, what happens, like it's keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's a very zigzag motion. But if I ask us in a simple way, or if I need to represent a simple chart wherein any person coming across this visualization should be able to identify what is the high level trend from beginning 2016 until 2019 or 2022 2020 here, what is a linear trend? Is overall market going up or is it overall going down? Right? If I talk in that sense, if I ask you, tell me in one word, or yeah, overall trend, whether it is going up or down, in that case you will agree with me that the trend is showing that it is going up. Do you agree? Not.
Yeah.
I mean, let's represent that. Right? I said that it is going up. Let's plot it in a way so that it will, not in a way, basically let the data tell whether it is going up or down. Okay, we need to plot a reference line or a linear trend so that it will appear, or it will tell us the clear picture whether it is going up or down. Right? Let the data tell itself. So plotting that reference line, we already did in some of the visualizations. we'll go ahead and do it again. So this is a reference line, or apart from this, if you click on this trend, you'll see there are something called forecast, then you have trend lines, then you have annotate and mark levels. So these few things are there. Now if you click on trend lines, show trend lines, see what happens. Okay, so you're getting two trend lines right now. One is this line. Okay, this is continuously going up, so it shows the trend starting from the first point where my data is started in 2016, and it's crossing the another trend, which is basically the profit. Now there has to be one edit describe trend line. Okay, I was trying to see the same value on this line also. So if you see here on this particular line, okay, before just talking about these lines, have you guys kind of created or worked on little bit modeling, Excel, data modeling in Excel, or little bit part of statistics?
No, for me, no.
Okay, what about you, Smriti?
No, Satya.
Okay, so basically, see, generally in statistician or people who work on statistics, right? What they do, looking at the current trend or looking at the current data, what data they get, they kind of create some models, right? They first of all create some hypothesis and then create model and train that, and then they generate forecast for future. So you can say forecasting or predictive modeling, it is kind of uh, related components. And the same thing here, we are not forecasting right now, but we are not doing forecasting right now, but we are telling that what is the trend of our data, right? And it is very, very, very related to mathematics as well as statistics. So as soon as we did trend, right? So basically, if you look at this particular graph here or chart, this is always your x-axis, which is where year is plotted right now. This is x-axis, and the axis where we have plotted profit, this is our y-axis. So this chart has been plotted between x and y. It is two-dimensional chart right now. And in language of calculus, that's a part of mathematics, each line or each curve or whatever diagram we plot, we can define that in terms of a equation in form of x and y. So for example, if I draw a straight line, the straight line's equation will be y is equal to mx plus c, right? Where y is coordinates on y-axis, x is coordinates on x-axis, m is basically the angle which it is doing or making on x-axis, and c is nothing but intercept on y-axis. Okay. I can, whatever I just explained, you can see it on Google also by typing equation of linear, simple say line, straight line. So let's do this only, this image. Okay, so what I said, y is equal to mx plus c, or this is another line which says y is equal to 1 upon 2x plus 2. So this is in the same format. All the linear rows will have the similar equation, y is equal to mx plus c. Over here, value of m and c will keep changing because these are two variables, right? M will be the angle made on x-axis. C will be the intercept from coordinate 0 to 0 on y-axis. Right? Any linear line will be shown in terms of this. Now what happens when we create a trend? Because what we did here, we just created a linear trend of our data. It is going from down to up, the linear trend. And the equation of this line is represented by, if you want to see the equation for this line, you need to right click here, then say describe trend line, and it will show you equation profit is equal to 9.15184 into month of order date plus, again the value of C is what, minus 382373. So this is the equation. This is also in the same format, because on y-axis I have profit, so that's why profit is equal to. Then on x-axis we have month of order date, so that's why what we say, y is equal to mx, m into x. So m is what, 9.15, x is order of month of order date plus c, which is minus 382373. Right? So this equation is following the same pattern, y is equal to mx plus c. This equation is making sense or not?
Yes.
Right. It's a simple linear equation. I would not say you need to go into technicality, just simple say that what it is. If somebody asks that what is the equation of your trend here, you should be able to tell. That's it. Right? Now, I will not say that where this 9.15 came from or where this 382373 came from, but you should know this is the equation of linear line represented into our data by this particular trend line. Then you have p-value. What is p-value?
I think it's the probability factor.
Exactly. P-value is nothing but probability. Right? So probability, which means the probability of this trend, the trend which is showing, and it shows that it's going from 5k towards up, overall trend of my data is going upside. So the probability of this is this much. And the concept of probability is probability cannot be more than 1, right? It will lie between 0 and 1. If you are saying that something is going to happen 100%, which means the probability of that task will be 1. And if that event is never supposed to happen, then probability of that event will be 0. Okay, so the trend which is showing that it is going positive, the probability of that is this. And keeping these two things in mind, if you keep changing the value of your order year and apply this logic, you'll keep getting the value of your profit. Okay, so now let me do one thing. I'll just copy this equation here. Put it into Excel. So what we are saying, if we keep changing the value of order date, it will give me the profit for future, which means if I put some future date here, I'll be able to get the future profit also, right? Which means the same equation can be used for forecasting. And this is the level of forecasting what Tableau provides. It will not be a high-end forecasting. Looking at your data, you can do forecasting, you can make some changes in the components. Okay, so other than this, there were some other trend lines also. You can take any point From that point, you can see what is the trend line. Right? This is the main trend line of this particular data, which is always visible. But let's say if I say looking at this point and this point, what is my trend? You can just, by holding control, you can select those 2 points and it will tell you that how your trend is going towards that. And you can see that equation over here also. Profit is equal to this R squared 1 p value NA. Right? Why p value is NA? Because this is never going to happen looking at my data. Got it? Guys, yes, no, questions, doubts?
Yes.
Right. You can select any points using control and you can see the trend line of those points. But this is the main trend of our data and it is going up. That is actually, I was saying that our data is telling that it is going on the positive side. Though there are up and downs because it is a market, always there would be no up and downs. But what is your overall trend? Looking at this only, I mean, if you have any interest towards share market and all, so trading basically, so what happens in trading, they focus on these charts only, like what is your simple moving average, 2 day simple moving average, 5 day simple moving average. So looking at that, they create moving average of your data and then they can predict whether if past 2 days were our trend was like this, what would be in future. Right? Nobody can 100% predict this, but what is the probability? Right? If probability is high, it's a good bet. If probability is low, then it's not a good deal. So this is how you can predict your data. But let's go ahead and do that, because so far we got the equation, we got our trend. Now let's predict it. Okay. In order to do the prediction, we'll just right click over here or on this visualization and simply say forecast, show forecast. Okay, I'll go ahead and do show forecast. Now if you see, there is another portion which just got added as soon as we clicked on forecasting. Now this forecast, because our data was still beginning of 2020 only, based on the historical trend, what Tableau has done, it has predicted some values for entire 1 year. Now this area which says estimated, this was actual and this is estimated. Estimated means based on the historical trend, Tableau has predicted something for future, just 1 year. And based on the trend what we had, these are the values what Tableau shows that we might have in future, estimates. Okay, so these are not the actual values, but this will happen if our trend remains same. How you can edit this forecasting for if it is required, you can change some of the component. For example, okay, forecasting options, and over here it says automatic for next 13 months it is predicting. You can say exactly for 1 year, 2 year, whichever you want, you can do that. So as soon as I'm changing the years, based on the historical trend, it will keep on adding data for futures, right? In order to do prediction, you need to have minimum of 6 months data. If you have data less than 6 months, you can do prediction on data for 1 month also, but that will not be good. Accuracy will not be there. You need to have minimum 6 months data to create any predictive model or forecasting. Now you can put until also, like until when you want, or until what time you want. So these are two ways you can do the forecasting for the time period. Then it says aggregated by month. So you can, so this aggregation is exactly what I was telling, simple moving average. Simple moving average basis years, basis quarters, basis month, week, days, hours, minutes, or seconds. It depends that what kind of granularity you have in your data. The more granular you can go and do the prediction, more accuracy you will have. So if you are able to predict on months, very, very good. If you are able to predict by days, it will give you kind of, good number. But in our case, it shows no forecast. Why? Because we were plotting basis months only. You need to have days here in order to create that forecast. Okay. So this should match. I said do the granularity on days, but my chart didn't have the day. So it was not giving any forecast earlier. But as soon as we changed it, now it is giving. But now I don't understand what my trend is talking about and how it is going. Right. So this is all about what is required and how you want to kind of showcase this. So we'll go back and month and years. Need to change the forecasting. We'll say months. Fill in the missing values. If your values have 0, it will fill that. And over here, automatic without seasonality and custom. What is seasonality? You will get this keyword very frequently while doing, forecasting or modeling. But what is seasonality? Any idea? Bio, Smriti, what is seasonality?
No, no idea.
Okay. So see, any program, any algorithm, or like this modeling here, what we just did, looking at the historical data, we just plotted our forecast, right? Now, if I go on year by year, it is possible, right? That from January, we get a lot of profit, but as we go towards end of the year, profit is less. Or in other words, you can say, as soon as the festive season comes in US, right? Uh, we have Thanksgiving, then we have 25th of December, all that, right? Christmas. So that's the festive season starts in the last part of the year. At that time, it is possible that people start doing a lot of shopping and all, right? So at that time, sales increases. If sales increases, definitely people will make good profit. So you might see that there are specific months or there is a specific time period when we get a lot of profit. But other than that, the profit is normal, average, or sometimes it is below average, right? So if you see the similar trend every year, that is called seasonality, right? Like you are getting profit, high profit based on some season. Okay. So that type of thing is called seasonality in the data. So if you create your forecast keeping seasonality in mind, which means it will see those up and downs that particular period of time in a year or a month, and then accordingly it will create the forecast. So this automatic one keeps that in the mind. If you say without that, right, it will not consider that seasonality. Or maybe custom. Custom is kind of trend, additive trend you want, or multiplicative trend you want, or season, additive or multiplicative. So these are different, inputs what you can apply here, and what is the level of confidence you want to get, right? 95, 99, 100, not 100. See, 95 is always best. So that is why, by default, people take 95 accuracy and 5 value as alpha. Alpha, you can read in statistics. These values, make a lot of importance while doing modeling, right? But people who are using Tableau, I would say you can do this high, not high, basically it's a very low level of forecasting what we do here. Tableau is not used for forecasting, frankly speaking. Tableau has given this feature, that's good, you should know it. But in any organization where work is done on forecasting, prediction modeling, they don't use Tableau for it. They use R or Python for modeling. Okay, but this feature is there in Tableau because it is very low level of forecasting, so you should know that. Right? So I know it was whole theory, a lot of theory here, new concepts, but if you have any doubt related to what we have created, we can, kind of go back again and repeat it. Smriti, Bio, any questions?
No, Satya. That's clear.
All right. So let me move. Now, there is another type of chart which you generally don't see in dashboards, but it's good. I mean, it's good to kind of create it for presentations. Looking at this trend, what we just created in past two sheets, if you are able to, let's say, assume that you are in some presentation, right? You are presenting your screen on maybe projector or sharing your screen. If you are able to show this trend in movement, when I say in movement, basically you just kind of played a chart. What it is doing, it is showing this point, then this point, then this point. You'll show the moving data element. Generally what happens in videos. Would it look good?
Yeah, that will be awesome.
Right. Similarly, I mean, the way you play your video, and in many news channels also you see, or in the markets also, like they just play it for, a small clip, and what would happen? A chart will start from zero and will go up and down, and it will show the complete trend starting from zero. So the same thing you can create W, right? How can you create it? I'll just show. We need just these fields only. For example, order date. You can take sales or profit. Change this year into month. Let's change into this month so that it will show you complete year and month combination. To make it a little better, you can do some formatting if you wish. What I would do, I'll just drag that is there. Okay, I will drag date, order date, because we have order date here. I'll drag order date into pages card. So far we never did it. This is the first time I'm dragging something on pages card, right? Now you need to make sure whatever format you are keeping on columns, that format should be same as on this pages. This should match, right? Then only this chart will go well. So over here we had month of order date. We'll do the same thing here, month of order date. So month, order date, month, order date. Now over here you see only one dot right now because, okay, one more thing. As we drag something on this pages card, this control appears on the screen, right? This is a new control which you might not have seen so far. This is the first time it appeared on the screen. Now it has list of all the values what you have in the fields under column or on the pages. As I said, like both need to be same in format. They will have same values and those same values will appear here. It has some play icon, pause icon for speed, slow, fast, normal, okay, and then show history icon. So we'll go on these options one by one. Now, as we have just dragged sum of sales here, month here, right? Just these two things, column and row cells, we have sales and month. Pages, we have month again. I'll just click on this play button. Let's see what happens. You saw something, right? The dot, which was there here in 2016, it went and reached to 2020 here, basically December 2019. You saw that movement, right? Now we'll make some changes into this and basically we click on show history. As soon as you do that, some other icons gets enabled here. We'll say all. Then I'm saying lengthwise show everything, and still some of the things are not enabled. So we'll see one by one all of those. So over here, if you see, if I play this thing again, you'll see what it is doing, right? It's plotting my sales across the year, but because right now it has only dot, so it is just plotting dots across the across the page for the entire year. It's kind of retaining that history on the page. Now let's do some more changes so that my graph looks a little better. So what I will do, maybe I can select circle and then we'll say show marks and trails both. Format is already there. Format of marks, we have already selected fade. We can say don't fade it. Then you can go to trails. Trails is basically the trend line. And over here also you can put some color if you wish, so in order to show the trend. So for example, we selected something. And for this, you can, in order to look at a little better, you can drag maybe sales onto size and labels so that you will know how much sales you are getting at that particular point. And then size, again, I will drag it here. So you'll know what a particular dot represents or mark represents the total number of sales. We'll go ahead and play it once again from the beginning. Let's put it like this. And I've just maximized the screen. Speed is medium and we'll play it once again. Let's see how it goes. right? So it's moving every point with the actual sales on it, and the size of mark represents whether it is high, low, or whatever number it is. Basically, it will go and complete the trend for complete tenure starting from 2016 to 2019 December.
Satya, how we are getting those lines? Earlier we were getting only the dots, right?
Yeah, I'll go again. Let it complete its journey. Okay, so over here, when I drag these fields, this control appeared, right? Now onto this control, if you see show history, right? And here we have marks, trails. I've clicked like show both. If you're simply showing,
Okay,
if
okay.
you
Yeah.
if you say only trails, the dot will not be there. If you say marks, trend will not be there. If you say both will be there. And then you can do the formatting whichever you want. Over here, if you say fade and keep with, you can see what is happening. It kept fading those circles as it will go. Right? It will show only last and few circles of history. Over here, you can see like they are completely gone. So it's up to you the way you want to set it up, right? But it's a very good chart to be shown into presentations. Right. So this was the one measure which we plotted here. We can drag profit also. Maybe we can create dual axis, synchronize our axes, and we can represent both in one. So it will show the trend of your profit and sales simultaneously. The row at the top is basically sales, and the profit one is in the bottom. So it shows like how your sales and profit trended like in the history and how it might do in future. Right? It basically shows there are few points wherein your sales has dropped, but still you made good profit. And the seasonality, what I was talking about, right? If you see here the sales trend, right? It is going up, then down, then going up, then down, going up, then down, going up, then down. So there is a, for a particular year, if you see 2017 to 18, it went up, and then again in the beginning of 2018 it went down, then again it went up, then again in 19 it went down. So this is a seasonality basically. At the beginning of year it is going down, and towards the end of the year it is going up. Now I think you can add forecasting also. Show forecasting for both. Forecasting option exactly for, let's say, 2 years. Four years I'll change. Okay, so that I can get data until 2013. Now we'll go again fast. Okay, so over here you can see that profit is showing a straight trend for forecasting. Okay, there is no up and down starting from 2020 to 2024. It's a straight trend. But for sales, see, they have taken that seasonality in consideration. So there is a same trend. At the beginning of the year, it is down, and towards the end, it went high. Then again, in the beginning, it's at the lowest point, and then towards the end, it went up. So that seasonality is there in the picture for sales, right? Hope these both things are clear. This is forecasting, seasonality, and trend.
Yes.
Okay. And I would say like practice this for presentations or meetings with the clients. You can show this. It looks very, very good in those type of meetings.
So how we can take these sheets onto a presentation? We can call the report from a presentation.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, Satya, I was asking. Yeah, I was asking like how we can present all this thing onto a Microsoft presentation, MS Office presentation. Can I
No, no. See,
directly?
no, you cannot do that. Actually, if your Microsoft presentation, basically, I never used it. Are you talking about this PowerPoint or something else?
Yeah.
No, but this cannot be done on Power. See, whenever you are representing a Tableau report, right? PowerPoint is not advisable. You should present your reports directly from Tableau service, right? So that you can show the live reports. Because what happens, these reports are not direct, kind of, static reports. In Tableau, we create a lot of filter, navigation, actions. So whenever you are representing or presenting reports from Tableau, you should always do it from Tableau service so that you can show the filter options and everything. And for that, if it is deployed on Tableau server, you should be able to show it right the moment what we are talking about. Okay, so the next thing, let's go ahead and we created forecast here, we created trend. Okay, ranks we have already done. Okay, one more thing, one application wherein we kind of switched between profit and sales, I guess, using parameters. So okay, I don't remember. I think we created one chart wherein we were trying to, show either products, product categories, or by region. So that kind of changes we did using, yeah, it is there, region versus segment. I don't know which sheet we are using this, but we were able to give user a flexibility so that they can change regions versus segment in a particular view. Now the same thing is possible using measures also, right? Smriti, you understood what I'm talking about? Bio and Smriti both. Region versus segment. We did this implementation wherein in a parameter we gave flexibility to users so that they can switch the view either if they want to see the region or if they want to see the segment.
Yeah, I mean, we switched between dimensions. You mean to say we can switch between measures as well using parameters?
Correct. So see, the main thing is in any visualization, it is on any dashboard. The main important thing is how you are managing the real estate, right? When I say real estate, basically you need to put all of these things into graph, right? Sorry, dashboard. So if dashboard has a limited area, right? You can put a number of components over there, but for users also it should be visible properly. So you need to play smartly there, and if you are able to do that, that's well and good, right? That is what is required. So keeping that thing in mind, let's go ahead and create a view. So this thing is already there. I need to drag it. Show parameter control. Region versus segment. Yeah. Or we did it using hierarchies. Yep. Geo product. Okay, this was the right setup. We created this dynamic hierarchy using geo versus product. So we had different fields. Now we are going to do with different measures also, right? So what we would do, we'll create another parameter here. That parameter would be select your measure. Yeah. So select measure. I'll keep it as string, and then we'll mention maybe let's say sales. Then we'll take it as profit, or maybe quantity. 3 fields I have taken. Do we have anything else? Discount, yeah, that discount can also be taken. Discount. So 4 measures I have taken into this parameter. We'll say okay. And then we'll go ahead and create one calculated field and we'll call it measure selection. And over here, we'll say if my parameter, which is select measure, is equal to sales, then sales, else if select measure is equal to profit, then profit, else if select measure is equal to its discount, then discount, else the last value is going to be quantity, and end the condition. So 4 things we can say okay. It's just we need to make sure that the spelling what we are writing here, like profit, sales, discount, it should be same exactly what we have in parameters. If it is not matching, it will fail. That's why, generally I take 1, 2, 3, that because that is easy. So having said that, we'll go ahead and drag this measure selection onto my table, and then select measure parameter I will show here. So what would happen? We have selected product, we are selecting sales. We can select profit, we can show quantity, we can show discount. This is by furniture. You can show the same thing by geolocation, right? You can show in product itself, you can show it by products also. Okay, this something happened here. Dynamic hierarchy. Okay, this field is not part of hierarchy. It needs to be removed from hierarchy. Yeah. So products. Now discount, you can see the discounts by product now, quantity of products, profit on each product, or sales related to each product. You can drag your order date here, maybe months, show a table. Right. Now, just imagine, both of you, Bio and Smriti, this setup which we have right now talks about mostly all the information what you have in this data or in this project so far, except forecasting. It gives you mostly all the information. You can see the sales and profit on each level of your product, starting from category, subcategory, and then on individual product. You can see the profit, you can see the sales, you can see the quantity, you can see the discount, right? On all level of products. Going back to geolocation, you can see that same information, whether it is sales, profit, quantity, on each level of your geolocations, like which state is doing what on a particular product, how much profit they are making, how much quantities they are selling, how much total sales they have, right? How much discount they are offering. You have all that information in this only view, right? So by just putting this table into our visualization, we can cover most of the information what a business representative or a business team needs. Is it helpful or not?
Yeah, but this is a lot of information actually to analyze.
Actually,
Usually in reports we'll expect a summarized thing so that it will be easy to understand.
okay. So let me tell you here, Smriti. Each dashboard, what dashboard you are, we are not talking about individual reports basically, right? We are talking about dashboards in Tableau. Each dashboard should have components which should give user an option to see summary as well as details. Okay, if I talk about an individual report, then I agree with your point that any single report should not have this much of detail which they cannot analyze, right? But when we talk about storyboards or dashboards, we talk about first of all summary level like trend or high level descriptive information. Then if they select few make few selections or they kind of filter out something, then they should able to see the details. Details of whole data is not good, but if you want to drill down and come to a specific data set or filtered data set, that functionality should be there on dashboard. So keeping that thought in mind, you can go with this kind of visualization, right? Like on top of the dashboard, you will show high level summary. They will select maybe particular month or year or maybe particular product or a customer or a state. Then they'll be able to filter out some of the information by selecting that. Then they can jump on this particular table so that they can see specific information. Now on that specific records or data set, they can further see the details, right? I mean, once we'll create that dashboard, it will make sense to kind of use such visualizations,
Yeah.
right? By any questions, any inputs from your side?
No.
Okay, 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 fine. Now let's talk about, I mean, we did some dual access charts. So now let's go ahead and create one more dual access chart for a table, right? Why I'm saying that we need to create a dual access chart? Because let me first of all, okay, when we created this particular view, basis some filter condition or profit condition, we were able to give color conditions for different values and different subcategories. Whether it is profit, loss, or whatever it is, we were able to kind of give the color combination. This was a scenario when we used only one measure, which is profit. Now let's see, you are using two measures, and for each you need to define a different condition for colors. In those scenarios, you can use dual axis chart or dual axis functionality in Crosstable, right? So we'll go ahead and implement that scenario. Now, before I get into measures and dimensions, let me tell you, let's say it was my dummy field, right? Yeah. So if you drag any field onto Tableau, what happens? By default, it aggregates that. It can, if it is a measure, it will either give you some profit, sorry, some total count, all these things. But if you just convert this into attribute, it won't do anything. It will just simply show that thing as a one value. I mean, whatever value it has, it will simply show you that. So in our case, because it was one under dummy field, we just made it attribute. An attribute is nothing but a placeholder wherein you can drag and drop some other measures. So it will show you like the labels, right? This is the placeholder which I have created. Now if I want, I can drag my profit onto it. And it will show you that on labels. So this was the placeholder, doesn't get affected because of our data. We are able to show the labels on top of it, right? It is a chart only. You can see the axis starting from 0 to 1 and then going to 2. It's a chart only. This one, because we used it as placeholder, we can plot any other measure on top of it, right? So that's the concept for cross-table dual axis visualizations. Now I'll go ahead further and we'll show some of the axis options. Edit axis. Over here, you see some other options. For example, include 0. If you don't do that, what happens? 0 is gone from here, right? It's just 1 which you are getting. Then uniform axis range for all rows and columns, right? Uniform means axis and row axis and column axis both are going to be same. Independent axis range for each row and column. So you can depending on the data, they will automatically adjust. If it is fixed, you can put a starting point and you can put it as ending point, right? So maybe you can say 0, 1. Now if you see here what I did, earlier it was starting from 0 and ending at 2. See, I just put it 2. My bar shows still here. If I say 4, see, it reduced further, which means I have fixed the starting and ending of my scale. And accordingly, my chart will adjust itself. It's not dynamic, it is fixed. So for attributes, what generally we do, we'll just keep it as 1 because 1. Why 1? Because our dummy field had a value of 1. That's why 1. If had, let's say if has 2, then it would be better if you take 2. Why? Because in that case, it will occupy the complete width. So my dummy value had 1. I'm taking it as 1, and that's the reason from 0 to 1, it has occupied the complete column. Apart from this, you can, right now the label is coming as dummy. You can hide that by removing this, right? It's gone. Then tick marks basically related to your 1, 0, these things. So you can say none, it will not be there. Minor tick mark, again no. Tick marks, no. So these are the different formatting things what you can do. Now, after doing all that arrangement, I have my dummy field and the column which has label of sum of profit on top of it, right? So this was one field which I have. I can drag sales also here, but before that I need to take another dummy field, create an attribute do the similar kind of formatting going through axis. I'll say fix. We'll say 0 to 1. Remove dummy. Tick marks don't want to show anything. And here we go. So at one point we have profit, and this again it is showing profit right now because I didn't fetch any measure on top of it. So I'll just go ahead and select first of all this, remove the profit from here and drag sum on labels. Right now the labels are not visible properly. So if you wish, you can change the color of font. It will be visible. With that, let me go ahead and do some arrangement like label alignment. I would like it to be on center, middle, and color for the timing we can do as white. Okay, so the numbers are visible properly now. On one place we have profit, on other place we have sales, right? On these attributes. Now, if I go ahead and drag, let's say dynamic hierarchy itself, or any other dimension, whichever you want, you will see the profit and sales for those particular dimensions. Okay, just one further level. So far, our visualization has profit, sales on dual axis. It's a dual axis because we have two axes here, over here. You can create n number of axes this time. You can add as many attribute fields. You can drag those many measures on top of it, right? Now, till whatever we have done, it is easily possible in a normal table. We are not doing anything. We are just complicating the things. But the next step, what we are going to do is not possible in a simple cross table. The next step, what I'm talking about is putting conditions on a particular sales or profit. So what I would do, this was my sales. Over here we had this profit. We created one condition related to profit. Let me date calculation, profit calculation, profit category, right? If sum of profit is greater than 5, then higher, else lower. 5 is what? Should be 5,000. So we'll just drag this thing on top of my, actually there was another field also. Okay, fine. I'll just drag this on top of my color for profit tile. So what would happen? See, in this case, what happens? For profit only you got the color combination, higher or lower, but for sales it is nothing. So the color condition is applicable to only profit, not the sales. You can move it a little bit. Here we go. For this also I'll increase the size. Yes. So far I have applied color condition on profit, not on sales. you can create a similar kind of, another field, edit that, name it maybe sales category, and take sum of sales, mention something else, whichever you want, high sales, low sales, and drag it on sales color, right? And this time, if you wish, you can have different kind of color notation. So edit colors, high sales, maybe you can give green, low sales, maybe you can give red. So different color conditions for different measures as part of one table. Right? It will be applicable as soon as you go ahead and do any kind of changes or any level of hierarchy. Even for profit, you can change the colors if you wish. So this, okay. Any questions here? Smriti, Bio?
No, sir, that's clear.
Okay.
So it is like same like our dual axis chart, right? Only thing is there we can't apply the filters individually. It will be applied on the whole thing. Here we can do a partial selection or filtration.
I mean, it's a dual axis chart, but what you said on filter side, I didn't get that well.
We can apply some filter condition or some customization on partially on one part of the chart, and I mean like here the color combination and we have given to one part only
Yep.
for sales. Yeah, only for profit.
Right. So basically not the filter, I would say, just the color conditions. See, what happens normally, if let's say go here, right? It is one measure here, sum of profit. If I just drag sales on color, you saw, right, what happens? It got applied to all the fields. Even if I, let's say, take quantity, the same color scheme is applicable on profit as well as quantity. Right? It will be very confusing because you're not able to identify the volume what I mean the same scheme what profit was using, it is used by the quantity as well. So it will be very difficult because for quantity you might have a different conditions. For profit you will have a different condition. So that's why we don't go in this way. We go ahead and create separate conditions for different measures, and then we apply the conditions by using this method. Now again, it's very possible because right now we don't have date here. You can just drag order date, let's say, on top of it. So you can see the same conditions, same dimensions, same measures by year, time, or whatever thing you add into column segment. The conditions and everything will remain same. So it's a multi-purpose use of the cross table in dual axis chart, and you can leverage all the benefits of a cross table. Okay. Any doubts, any questions?
No, that's clear.
Okay. Bio from your side?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So I think that's all for today. Just focus on that assignment because Tuesday you're supposed to submit. So tomorrow I'll expect the files from both of you tomorrow, and then we can cover the assignment in details once you submit. And post that, I'll give you another assignment that will include your parameters, calculated fields, and hierarchies as well. Right?
Yeah.
All right then. So I'll share this recording video and we'll go forward from there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Bye
Yeah.
everyone.
Satya, that video for Saturday was not working. I mean, when I tried to download, the link was breaking. I'll try again today. If not, I will tell you tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know. If it is not working because I have the backup.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mm.
Bye.